Hi Pisces, this is Lee at Fresh Astrology. How are you doing? So I am looking at August 2019. I'm not doing the full third quarter reading because in July it was just impossible to get those out. I started with a few of the signs and I just couldn't get back to it. So we're going to just start fresh with August and look at August. So hopefully you've made it through eclipse season unscathed, or you certainly know now what some of the themes are. So just think of some of the big ongoing changes and directions that are changing in your life. New roads traveling down, new information coming in, things that weren't clear to you at the beginning of the year, more clear because of the eclipse energy, kind of opening and closing doors. And this could be stuff that's for you, for people in your family, for loved ones, partners. It can include your general close circle of friends and family, mostly, people really close in. So it may be that there are big changes going on with the people around you, and of course that impacts you. So consider that as well. So I'll show you my little note sheet. I know in coaching in my coaching videos, I show people my notes because I think it just helps. So I thought I would share with you. So what this says is we're looking at in August. I think the big news is Jupiter direct. Of course, there are many other things going on, but I like to focus on one thing. As if you've watched me, you know that. So Jupiter moving direct is news because this is where Jupiter is and where it had been retrograde. It had kind of pulled things back, slowed things down, made you, especially with this Mercury retrograde and the eclipses going on recently, it's made you reformulate and rethink exactly your career direction, how you want to prioritize, and who you want to work with, who you don't, who you want to be your boss, who you don't want to be your boss. And if you're the boss, thinking about that, how is that working for you? You may have some employee issues as well. So people working for you, there may be a lot of activity here. It is, in terms of your chart, there's a lot going on really with your career. So much is about your work life right now, whether you want it to be or not. If you're a Pisces who's just not working, then you could focus, and even if you are working, you could also be thinking about your health and what you want to do right now in the month of August to focus on your health. Maybe something about your career has to do with health, so you may be very active in getting something started that has to do with health and healing. So it could be directed toward you, it could be a part of your job. Often with the 6th house area where it's very active right now for you, you can also see health issues with other people in your family, people who you are helping, or and it could even be close friends, but people who might rely on you to help drive them to the doctor or be there with them. So it impacts your daily schedule. So there may be somebody in your close vicinity who has health concerns. They could be minor, they don't have to be huge, but August is kind of taken up with that. But again, if you're like for some reason not working, like you retired or you just haven't started working yet, this is about your daily schedule, trying to, you may have a lot on your plate in August, a lot going on. And with Jupiter at the top of your chart, if you don't have a career, you're not working, there could be issues with your parents, or if you're a parent, some bigger issues around your role. It just depends, if you're trying to have kids, then that's featured. You may be, sometimes when you become a new parent, there's so much coming up around stuff from your own childhood, so you're processing all of that. So that could be going on. Versus if your parent role is highlighted too, it could mean maybe just a lot going on with your kids. There could be health issues or running your kids around. If you don't have children and you don't work, this has to do with your own health and well-being, managing that, and also kind of deciding your future direction. And it has a lot more to do with your social status and your social life. So a lot of Pisces, especially if you don't work and you don't have kids, or the kids are kind of not the bigger theme for you right now, it could be a lot about your reputation, how people see you, worrying. Some people may be worried about their reputation, or some people may be experiencing this feeling that their reputation has really lifted and that they're just kind of can do no wrong right now. And some of you may have felt like that had been the case, but then there was like some missteps or some going one step forward, two steps back. And that could have been the Jupiter retrograde. So now with Jupiter turning direct in August, you have a chance to move your, whatever it is, like if you're in your social life, if you have certain goals, you can move forward more clearly and with more confidence in August. In terms of your reputation, if you felt like your reputation took a hit, then that you can kind of move forward again with more confidence in mid-August. You'll feel like that's behind you. But there's a lot probably going on for many of you to do with how you organize and construct and build and create your future. For whatever reason, a lot of you have felt like it's challenging to build a future, like there's something in the way. And for each one of you, it's going to be a different thing, but there's something impeding your way that it makes it more challenging to move forward. So it could be a person, it could be a parent, it could be a partner, it could have to do with kids, but it's just going to be, it's hard to think of examples. Like maybe if it's kids, maybe if you have young children and you're really involved in parenting, or you feel you should be more involved in parenting, then maybe you feel like you can't move forward with some of your own personal concerns and some of your own goals. So that could be what's going on. You feel like there's this barrier. For some of you, it could be something to do with a partner, either through a divorce or a current partner, something about them gets in your way. And sometimes this is more in our heads than it is a reality. Sometimes we tell a story, we make the story mean that we can't move forward. We kind of hide behind that, and it's kind of a cop-out. And it's amazing how, really smart people who are very evolved personally and emotionally intelligent, it's just shocking how, no matter how much self-work you've done, you can still fall into this trap of telling yourself a story that you just can't move forward because of X, Y, and Z. And just think about that. Even if you're like, no, that doesn't apply to me, let it settle in and just think about, well, okay, if you immediately think that doesn't apply to you, what is going on with your future planning? And do you feel like you're moving forward in a way that feels comfortable to you? Do you feel like something prevents you from moving forward with life and with plans? What is that thing? And then whatever it is, ask yourself that, let's say it's some financial reality, but something you think about finances, like I don't have the money to do that. And then ask yourself about whatever it is. Or you might say, well, because of the kids are still young, I can't do that. Ask yourself about whatever that circumstance is that you just put out there or brought into your mind. Ask yourself, is it true that I don't have the money to move forward with my plans? Or is it true that the kids, because I'm a parent, I can't? And really question it. Push yourself a little bit. if we're really honest and really ask ourselves those questions and think about it, we'll find that it's not exactly true. So, because what I would think with Saturn and Pluto here in this area of the 11th house, it makes me think there are some obstacles that seem very real for you moving forward. And I would say the circumstances, probably are circumstances that nobody could argue with. Like if it's your parent, nobody could argue that you're a parent. If you have X number of dollars in the bank, nobody would argue that you don't have that amount in the bank. But then beyond that, it's how do you mentally respond to those circumstances? So there's something, again, if I was coaching or working with you as a client, that we would be working on there. Because with Jupiter in your 10th house of career and moving you forward, so even if you're not working, it's moving you forward. And it's kind of like a sailboat with a lot of wind pushing the sails, or having the wind at your back. Life wants to take you in a lucky direction, and yet you may feel there are these brick walls or barriers, and they become emotional, they become internal barriers too. So whatever the external circumstance is, and it may be real, very real, we tend to pull it in and bring that barrier inside too. So then that internal story, or the way we internalize it, pulls us back. So you've got a lot of wind at your back pushing you forward in a lucky way, especially if you've got a career. But even socially and kind of with your reputation, things are moving for you, and you've got the wind at your back. But what are these barriers? Like, that's the thing to think about for you. And because I'm talking to a broad group of you, it's hard to address it. But there's definitely something for each one of you that you may well feel on some level, whether it's conscious or subconscious, that just is getting in your way. Something's getting in your way. And again, it just depends on how conscious you are of this. So I want to be clear, I'm not saying that something's in your way and you can't move forward. I'm saying that you think there's something in your way and you can't move forward. I'm saying the truth is probably that thing's not actually in your way in such a way that would prevent you from moving forward. I think the thing to work on for the average Pisces is realizing that any barriers you perceive aren't solid. They're permeable, they can dissolve, you can do work around them. There is a way forward. You've got Jupiter on your side, and over the next year, if you can gather your confidence and you can believe these barriers don't really exist in the way you previously had thought, you can do some big things. Some very interesting things with your life. It's a very, kind of a karmic time. And your whole future could change. But only if you believe that your future can be lucky and good and can change. And only if you believe that these obstacles can become non-obstacles. So again, it's funny how people mishear what I say because of kind of emotional reactions to what I'm saying. So just again, before I close, I'm not telling you that there's this hard barrier that you can't push through and you're stuck and you're kind of screwed. I'm saying the opposite of that. Some of you have that so securely in here that these barriers are just too big, whatever they are, that no matter what luck you get, you're just not going to break through these barriers. That's something some of you guys are feeling and thinking on some level, again, whether it's conscious or subconscious. What I'm saying is you absolutely have the wind at your back, and these obstacles aren't as impermeable or solid as you think. And if you can work with how you see your future and how you're going to get there, and kind of work with your mind, any unuseful negativity, you can really go places. And it's kind of a powerful time for many Pisces. By going places, your career can really go to amazing heights, and you just meet amazing people and really have a very different future than you ever thought you could have. But I would say a lot of it depends on you and how you react to your circumstances and what you perceive to be obstacles. And again, I know that sounds vague. It's because each one of you is going to have a different perception of what your obstacle is. But you're all different ages, you have different goals and agendas. So unless I talk to you personally, I don't know exactly, what example to give you. But that's the general characteristic of what's going on in your chart. So what do I want to say to you? To review, now's a great time to be working on your health and to think about your schedule and what works for you, because you may be a little busy in the month of August. Now's a great time to enjoy the wind at your back, especially in career or maybe in your social kind of reputation. Enjoy that wind at your back. Enjoy the lift, I guess. And then in terms of the future, going for the future you want, if as you think of what you really, really want, all these, the way people usually do it is like, I really want that, but there's this, there's this, there's this. Those things that you can tick off if your mind starts telling you practical reasons or what can be perceived as reality. Well, the reality is I can't because just realize those are excuses that you just start telling yourself. And it does seem like reality to you. But what I'm saying is, while the circumstances may be there, something really powerful can happen for you if you can just see all of this differently. See it as opportunity. Even if it seems like an obstacle, see the obstacle as an opportunity. I think I'm going to close on that. See the obstacle as the opportunity. All right, take care, guys.